Welcome to PhotoshopLessons.net. This is lesson one, and in lesson one, we will discuss 10 aspects of Photoshop. The first aspect that we will discuss is the new Photoshop CC interface of 2017. As you'll notice, there's been some changes. If you're brand new to Photoshop, obviously you wouldn't notice the changes, but most people have dabbled slightly. So I want to just discuss a few things. As you can see, the interface is slightly different. You have the option to create a new file right here. You can open, which is going to open up a search option to search for files on your computer. Right here, this displays, I believe, 50 of the most recent Photoshop files or files period that you have opened in Photoshop. Obviously, you have your learn option over here, and this has lessons from Photoshop, helps you create, see what you create with Photoshop, or create your first design, edit your first photo, or jumpstart your designs with Photoshop templates. We're going to go back to the Work tab, and one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to open a recent file. I'm going to open the recent file called PS Lesson 1. It's a PSD. A PSD is a Photoshop file. And it's opening. Okay. Now, this particular option that's gonna you can change this to say you can cancel it, which is what I'm going to do right now for use in future videos, or you can just select the do not show again and you'll never see this pop up again. So I'm just gonna press cancel. All right, and the next thing I'm gonna move on to is exiting or disabling the start workspace. So to do that, I have to close this document. So I'm just going to go over here and click on the X. All right. And I'm going to click, I'm going to close Photoshop down. I'm on a Mac, guys. And I'm going to reopen it. So I'm going to search. I'm going to press Command Spacebar. All right. And I'm going to start typing in Photoshop. All right. Double click it. The program opens. Okay. So now if I want, I can press the exit key and I can come out of this window, of this dialog, which I will, or there is a way that you can disable it. I'm not going to cover how to disable it because I'm a teacher. I teach Photoshop as well, and I don't want my students disabling this. Okay. So I'm going to just press exit or the escape key. I'm sorry. And you see that window is gone. So now I would have to manually go, which is a good thing. I can show you this and create a new document. So I'll go File, New, okay. And now I have several options. I can select the recent document that I was working on, okay. Saved. There's different templates or options, document presets that Photoshop offers under photo. So default Photoshop size, landscape, which is 2x3, another landscape option 4x6, so on. I can select print, okay. And you notice that down here on the bottom they have templates. I can select art and illustration. I can select web, which is great for web designers. I also teach web design as well, so I use this option a lot. Mobile, um, and film and video. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to select photo. Okay, default Photoshop size is 7 by 5 inches, 300 pixels per inch. Okay, that's PPI. And I'm going to click create. All right, and if you notice, if I close this and go back and do this again, file, new, okay, I had some other options over here that I didn't really discuss. They're automatically they're in the defaults. So whether it's the orientation, okay, resolution, pixels, inches, the color mode, RGB, stands for red, green, and blue. I could change it to CMYK, which you would use if you were creating an artwork for print. Okay, anything for the web or online media that's going to display on a computer, you want to use RGB. Okay, all right. So also there should be an option. Let me see, to pick what I wanted my background to be, but yeah, color. So I could change my background color there if I wanted to. All right. So then cancel. I'm going to click create. Okay. And now I have my canvas. This is my background. Okay. Now we're going to move on. So we talked about the interface. We talked about exiting or disabling the start workspace. We launched a new document. Okay. And we talked about selecting a Photoshop preset. One great new feature in Photoshop, especially for novices, is the search option. The search option, okay? And to do that on a Mac, it's Command F, and I believe on a PC, it's Control F. But on your Mac, it's Command F. So I'm just going to press the Command key, which is right next to the space bar. So Command and F. Sorry, guys. And I get my search option. Okay, so on my search option, if I can search for lots of different things in Photoshop, especially if I don't know where something is, like, so if I've used a tool but I just forgot where I was. So say for instance in the top Photoshop menu, which is right here, there are many panels and things that you can turn on and off in Photoshop. So say for instance, I just really forgot. Well, if you forgot, I guess you wouldn't know to type in window, but I'm going to type in window. Okay. And when I type in window and scroll, I have all these different options that could be helpful and also be able to save time. And if I didn't know which options that I had, because I was a novice and I was, smart enough to know to search window. From there, I could go ahead and get an idea of the possible options that I could turn on and off. So just to show you the power of the window uh, menu, what this window item can do is, to the left over here is my Photoshop toolbar. From here, from the top all the way to the bottom, if you follow my mouse. Now, some folks choose to double this toolbar up. You can double it by clicking on the little arrow on top of it, a little double right arrow. Click on there, all right? And I could double the toolbar up. As you see it, it's still a little space. It takes a little space from Photoshop. I prefer to work with just the default toolbar. Okay. So right now, for let's say I just want to turn this toolbar off. I want to remove this toolbar. I go to Window. Okay. I come down to Tools and I deselect it, and the toolbar disappears. Now, for the average designer, you probably wouldn't want to turn your toolbar off. But suppose someone was using Photoshop and they customized their settings and you got on their computer and you needed to work, you needed to design, and you can't find your toolbar. Well, now you'll know to be able to turn that back on. You just go to Window, you come down to Tools, you click on it, and voila, there's your toolbar. Okay, so let's see what else. To change your workspace, this is something that you may or may not do for a while if you're a novice. You just come all the way over to the top. On the top right, you'll see a little down arrow. You click it, and it lets you choose a workspace. Right now, we are in Essentials. You could work in 3D, graphic and web, motion, painting, photography, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to stay where we are for right now. One thing that a lot of people do by mistake, and it's tricky, and even I as a teacher, sometimes I fight with it, but it's okay, is undocking and redocking panels. And for most people, they'll undock the panel by mistake. So to do that, let's go back to my handy dandy toolbar over here, and I'm going to undock it. So I'm going to grab it from over here, and I'm going to move it. So now my toolbar is over here. I can move it wherever I want it. I can put it over here. I can dock it on the right side if I want, but I like my toolbar on the left side. So now that I undocked it, how do I get it back over here? How do I redock it? So I got to take it and I'm sliding it to the left. When you see me select it, to select it, I have to take and click on it and keep the mouse depressed, and I come over and I'm moving it and I'm moving it to the left and I'm moving it to the left just enough to where I see this blue line. You see where I see the blue line appear? And now I can release it. And now my toolbar is redocked. Okay. Let's say you want to reset a tool in the options bar. Okay. Some of you guys are wondering, what is the options bar? This is your options bar up here, and it changes depending on the tool that you're on. So right now, this first tool is the move tool. So see the settings change? Okay. All right. So the settings changed again. Okay. This marquee tool, the one I was just on, the settings changed again down here. All right. Every different tool that I click on, you can see the settings change. Okay, settings are changing. All right, so say for instance you are new and you're wanting to know what tool is what. All right, if you just hover over it, it will show you this is the crop tool, this is the magic wand tool, this is the polygonal lasso tool, this is the rectangular marquee tool, and as we stated earlier, this is the move tool. All right, so let's see, what else are we covering here? Oh, we're going to talk about how to reset the tools. So let's say, for instance, I modified the tools and I wanted to reset it. Basically, from here, I just right click, or I'm sorry, yes, on a PC, which is a Windows computer, you would right click, but on a Mac, you have to select Control, and you're going to control click. So if I press Control and I click this, I have the option to reset the tool, okay, or reset all of the tools. Notice that, right? All right, so we're doing good so far. Now, say for instance you're coming in here and you're working and you're changing stuff and you want to save a file. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to click on my type tool and I'm going to type save this file. All right. So in order to save this file, I need to go to, I'm not going to talk a lot about shortcut keys because I teach my students get certified and you can't use shortcut keys during the certification exam. But I will sporadically mention some shortcut keys. So I could do Command S, or I could go File, Save, okay? And I could do also, let's saving, give it just a second, okay? And I have to choose a format if I do File, Save, which is basically File, Save As right here. Now, the Photoshop format would save it as a PSD file, but I have lots of other options to choose from. Some that some of you guys might be looking for is JPEG, okay, or PNG, things of that nature. All right, so I'm gonna cancel for right now because I don't want to save it. I want to show you guys one more thing. All right, and I want to do I'm gonna say, because I build a lot of artwork for the web, so I want to export this as a GIF. Okay, so I come down from, I go File, Export. I don't want to do quick export as PNG or anything like that. I want to pick Save for Web. Save for Web. Now, GIF is already selected. This is a .gif file. Okay, you spell it GIF, but it is pronounced GIF, like the peanut butter GIF. Okay, and this shows me the width. All right, and I can come down here and click Save. All right, and then I have to pick a location. So for right now, I am saving to an external hard drive because I don't want to load up my computer with a bunch of files that I don't need. So I'm going to select my external drive, and I'm going to select my Photoshop tutorials folder, and I'm going to name it Save as GIF. All right, save as GIF.gif. Haha, that's cool. And I'm going to click Save. All right, and that file has been saved. And basically, guys, that is pretty much the end of this tutorial. There's one more thing I want to show you that's very important. If I save that file as a GIF, I have the file, but it's in a fixed format. I can't go back in. Say, for instance, I wanted to edit that text. I can modify the text. Okay. Let's see, rasterize this layer. Rasterize type. I can modify the text, which is what you see me doing now, but I couldn't just edit the text. All right. So had I saved this file as a PSD, then I can go in and modify the text. So right now it is in Photoshop. I still have it open, but I'm gonna save it, okay, as a Photoshop file. All right, so I'm gonna just do it just like that. I just picked, so it's gonna save it. It's gonna take PS lesson 1. Actually, there we go. That's what I want, but I gotta remove the .gif. All right. I'm gonna do PSD there. So it's going to add an extension. This is just the name. It's going to add its own extension. Click OK. Now, this file is saved as a PSD, so I can edit it. So what do I mean by editing it? If I go and double click on this text, sorry, cancel. Oh, I rasterized it. Okay. So I might have to go back and I'm going to add another type layer. I'm going to add another type layer right here. And I'm going to type save this file to. Okay, and actually you can see my layer. Once you rasterize a layer, I can undo it, and I'll explain that in a future video what that means. But that basically you can't edit it the way that you used to. All right, so in any event, right now I can take and I can change this. I can edit this. I can change it to save this file 3, save this file 4, etc. All right, so right now if I take and save this, I'm gonna save this file as a PSD, as a Photoshop file. I'm gonna keep the same name. I'm just gonna save over it. All right. Now I can close this file, okay? And I can reopen it. It's right there in my recents, okay? And now I can double click this type layer and I can modify this, okay? I can modify this to say whatever I want it to say. But up here, this particular layer where I first saved it, I first saved this file, I rasterized the layer, and then I saved it, okay? So I don't have the ability to edit it. So it's very important that you understand how you save it. If you save the file as a Photoshop file, which is a .psd, and you go down here and it says save as, and you see that option Photoshop, your file will be saved as an editable version. Okay, it's not a flat file. It has all of the layers. Okay, once you go and save it as a GIF or PNG, it is no longer a Photoshop file. It is no longer has the layers. So you can still edit it, but now you are basically doing destructive editing. You are editing, you're going in here and this is like a picture now. This is text, okay, that I can modify easily, but now this is like it's almost as a picture. In order to modify this, I have to go in and cut out the letters. So if I wanted to say save this file on Tuesday, I could come over here and type on Tuesday and add it to that, but I still got to come in here and cut out the period, remove that. And so it's a lot of extra work. So that's one very important thing that you want to remember. And I thank you for watching this first video. Hopefully you learned some important information.